Three guys who combined to play 15 seasons in the National Football League trenches. Well, two guys. And Mackey, who didn't do shit. He just sits there and looks pretty.
This is the O-Line Committee.
Hey, football. This is the only show in America where an idiot fan like myself gets to chop it up with two former National Football League offensive linemen. This is the O-Line Committee, football from a trenches perspective. Phil Mackey, Jeremiah Sirles, and the sleeveless Alex Boone.
Dude,
today, you're so happy because we get to talk 49ers, for the house that Boone built. Forget about Bill Walsh and Joe Montana, okay?
Easy. There's a lot. Jesse Sapolu is about to strangle me right now if you ever say that again. Staley will come through my phone and beat the hell out of me. Are you kidding? No, you can't say that, dude. There were too many greats before me.
How many people have zoo animals named after them, though?
Hey, so that's what gets everybody. They're always like, so when I call people, it says the Rhino.
Hold on. So by the way, his nickname is the Rhino, right? Like the Rhino. Like when he enters a Zoom call, when we're talking to his kids, it says the beep Rhino on it. Like, so he's the Rhino, right? And so when I first met him, I was like, what? Explain. Because he tried to sign his mortgage. I did.
As the Rhino?
He tried to sign his contract with the Vikings as the Rhino. And George Payton comes down. He's like, are you an idiot? He's like, this is a legal document saying we're paying you millions of dollars. You need to sign your legal name, dummy. And he's like, well, I signed my mortgage. And they're like, no, Alex Boone. Alex, do I need to write it in crayon for you?
Hey, they should have called the Rhino in to sign it. Hey, sign your name, buddy.
It was unbelievable.
You should get it legally changed. Let's get this thing legally changed. Just the Rhino. Come on.
His wife would strangle him.
It already shows up on the phone. You know how many people call me, like telemarketers, like, dude, you know it's under the Rhino? Yeah, I do. It's pretty cool, right? Verizon did that for me.
You guys remember the Ultimate Warrior, the wrestler from like 30 years ago with the tassels, right? He was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up. He beat Hulk Hogan for the championship in WrestleMania 6. So he legally changed his name to the Warrior in the 1990s.
See, now you can get away with that in the 90s. This is 2023. I don't know if I can get away with the Rhino. People are like, dude, what are you doing?
Dude, are you kidding me? It's 2023. You can get away with anything.
Yeah, dude, I think you're good.
No, but that's just one more step down that road of everyone being like, he is clinically psycho. Like, he changed his name to the fucking Rhino. What an idiot.
What's his name? Meta World Peace?
Yeah, exactly.
Chad Ochocinco. You wouldn't be like the first. Now you might be the first O lineman, and we'd all.
I was gonna say you can't be the first O lineman. Come on,
that's fine.
No.
So for all of you crazy football lovers out there, if you could, this is a new channel here, a new podcast, the O-Line Committee. If you could click the subscribe button and the like button, you can help us grow this thing and start a fund to get all of Alex's family's names also changed to the Rhino. Because
the little kids, Rhino.
Yes.
Rhino the second.
Rhino 1, Rhino 2.
So
we got to leave Bears Bear, though. Bears Bear Bear.
Well, then you have Mrs. Rhino.
Oh.
You'd have the Mrs. Rhino.
The Mrs.
Actually, the Ultimate Warrior's wife, so her name was Dana, and she changed her name to Dana Warrior.
Love it.
That became her. She took his changed name and replaced her last name. So
Dana Rhino.
Dana.
She'd kill me. She would kill me.
So before I pop some film up here, and the way this works, at least so far, is I bring random film clips that I find interesting as a fan, and then you guys break it down like professionals. And today's theme is the San Francisco 49ers.
Let's go.
So before we pop a couple plays up on the screen here, just it's funny because the 49ers, it's like every year, the last handful of years, they're Super Bowl contenders without really knowing who their quarterback is. Or they can just grab a 7th round. Like, we'll just take the last player in the draft, and he's just going to drive this ridiculous Ferrari to 6 straight wins and deep in the playoffs. So just like your initial thoughts on the car that they have built, personnel systematically and up front specifically.
I think it obviously starts up front. We talk about it for every film we're ever going to talk about is the tackles, right? And last year they had the best, if not one of the best to ever do it, in Trent Williams at left tackle, and they had Mike McGlinchey, who signed for $72 million there in the Broncos now, right? So you talk about those guys like, okay, yeah, you have your bookends, and then you just start talking about weapons, right? When everyone's like, oh, we need to get, like in Minnesota, Kirk needs more weapons, or Aaron Rodgers never had any weapons. It's like, yeah, but if you look at the Niners, all they have is weapons. Like, there's no one on that team that's a skill position that wouldn't start on any other NFL team based off of just what they can do from Kittle to Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. I mean, from top to bottom, they are just loaded with weapons guys that get deep threats. I mean, they can take it to the house anytime they touch the football.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of it is, and Jeremiah, remember when we went to the preseason with the Vikings and the Niners? Remember we were talking to Shanahan's dad? Yep. And we were talking about how like creative he is. And like that was probably one of the greatest moments of my life, getting to talk to Senior about his son. But like when you talked to him, it was like, this is what's so fun to watch now is it's not just this lineup and I'll smash you in the mouth. It's this lineup and what are we doing? Now I'm going to make you start guessing, right? And that fear and that doubt that's put in your mind, you're constantly – guys everywhere think that the league is just built with all these guys and it's just so crazy. It's not, but it's like, it's that fast. If you forget something that fast, it's over. You've lost. The play is done. And that's why it's like that quick hesitation and that quick, is it a run? Oh my God, it's a pass. And there's Kittle running behind me with his arm up. And you're like, dude, that split second just screwed all of you. And that's what's so fun because they can line up 5 wide and all of a sudden all these motions bring them into this like 2x2. And now they look like they're a goal line formation. You're like, wait a minute. What just happened? They're in nickel on defense. They have no idea what's going on. They're just about to get bamboozled right now. And it's fun to watch because it becomes more X's and O's and like it's a chess match. And how is he going to get them this week? And it's always evolving. It never stays the same, which is also fun.
And, so it's all built off of physicality. All of it. Like all of that's fun. All of the dressing, the window dressing, and like the schematics is all great. But that is a physical football team.
Yes.
Right, they're known for their physicality of beating you up. You know, if you're playing the Niners, you're on defense. Like you're in for a long day of A gap runs, B gap runs. I mean, that's just what they built this off of. So that's their foundation. And without that, none of the other stuff matters.
I mean, look at one of their best players, George Kittle, one of the best tight ends in the league. Him and Travis Kelce are easily the best. He is one of the best run blocking, probably tackles in the league. Like there are times where he just destroys people, and he's having fun, and you're like. Where else do you see tight ends mashing linebackers and defensive ends and laughing about it? Like just having a good time. Like that's what makes it so frustrating when you play them because the guys that they need to show up at times are like, oh, you need me to block? Oh, I can do that too. I love doing that. I'd rather do that instead, as a matter of fact. So let's just do that the rest of the day. And you're like, wait, don't you want the ball? Well, yeah, I'll get it later. Like, dude, nobody over there is like, gimme. It's all this like, what's good for us is good for everybody. And it's awesome to see.
I don't know if you guys pay any attention at all to the NBA, but in the NBA, the Miami Heat for like 15 years under Pat Riley, it's called Heat culture. And they just, whether it's superstars like Dwayne Wade or now, so this year they're in the second round of the playoffs as we record this episode, and they literally have like 8 undrafted players who are making up all, I mean, they just have half their roster is undrafted, but they call it Heat culture because they can put anyone in the system, and these guys, it's team first, it's ball movement. I feel like the 49ers have something like that. Even going back to, now it's Kyle Shanahan, but going back to Jim Harbaugh, who you played for, it just kind of feels like everyone buys in. You never really know who the quarterback's going to be. Wasn't there some stat, too, this year that teams that played the 49ers the week after, it was like getting into a car accident for 3 hours, and that teams that played the Niners were like 0-15 the next week because they're just so ravaged that you can't even get up for your next game?
Well, what's crazy is all we've talked about is their offense. We haven't even talked about their defense. That's what's even crazier. Like, and I used to go into games sometimes, and it's funny you brought that up because we would go into games and we'd be like, if we were just to play them with our offense, do you think we could outscore this team with a mediocre defense? Because we had a great defense at the time, and it was like, yeah, well, it's guaranteed to win. And it's the same thing with them. Their defense is going to pummel you every single week. Look, Nick Bosa is doing things on the edge that are just ridiculous. And then you talk about the linebacking core and the secondary. Like, they're all built up so perfectly. And Fred Warner in the middle is one of my favorites by far.
You want to break down some film?
Can't wait.
Unleash you
Do
guys.
we pull up some old notebooks too?
Well, we're waiting for you to bring your handwritten notes here to the.
You pull up a Seattle clip. Oh my God.
So this is Niners and Seahawks, one of the better
over there.
rivalries the last 10 or 15 years.
Dude, we used to hate these guys.
We're going to click play. We're going to watch we'll give you 2 angles on all these plays. We're going to give you the first one. I'll run it, and then you guys can tell. And I'll tell you that the first 2 plays out of the gate here kind of play off each other, even though it's different games. And you'll see when we get to the second clip here.
Oh, we got a motion? No, you don't say. Simple pitch.
Lead toss.
It's exactly what you said, Jeremiah. It starts up front. It starts with that left tackle who is phenomenal and that tight end.
Well, so
look at these guys, a couple Hall of Famers on the left side. Just
2 guys chucking it up. No big deal.
Another unsung hero of this offense is Juszczyk. number 40.
Oh,
because
star him.
he is what you talk about as a fullback, but he's got the athleticism of a lot of running backs in this league, right? I mean, look at this. This is Christian McCaffrey split out. 23 is split out,
right?
And you have your receiver. So, I mean, the first thing this defense is doing is trying to identify who's where, who's doing what, because when you see 23 and 19 in the huddle, right, the defense gets there, okay, it's going to be 21 personnel, right, 2 backs, 1 tight end. And then all of a sudden they break the huddle and the running back's running out to the flat and the receiver's staying in the backfield. And so it's immediate like, wait, who are we identifying? Who's where? Who's going what? Flash them across. And, I mean, they're in base defense here. They got 5 defensive linemen in the game, right? Bruce Irvin's kind of a glorified DN outside backer.
For sure.
They're going to try and stay big against this front, which they can come back to for pass game. But this lead toss here, I mean, it's a really simple play design.
Look at that. Look at that jump reach. He doesn't even look like he's trying. That's what's so awesome about watching him. God damn, Trent. You are the man.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's a really simple combo here, right? 85 and 71 are comboing up to 58 here. This is the big block here, all outside, inside zones. The guard that has to move and dent this 3 technique here over 65. And then you can see they're going to wall off the backside here. And then there's going to be like 57's the free runner. 57, the farthest guy away from the ball, is going to be the one that has to make the tackle.
So
right?
this dude right
But
here.
look, let's see all these lanes opening up. See that? He's kind of like, dude, we pitch the ball, and all of a sudden it's like, where am I going? And like he said before, that's not Christian McCaffrey back there. It's Deebo Samuel, which makes this a different play altogether, right? Like, this could be a pitch from a running back, but now it's a pitch to a receiver. So it can go anywhere at any point. And look, they don't even block the backside linebacker, and he still doesn't make the play. Yeah, that's how awesome this is.
Juszczyk has a double read here. He has to take the most dangerous, right? So he can take the safety coming down there, or he can take the backside linebacker coming over the top here. And then you're just going to say, okay, Deebo and 57, just outrun him. Just try and outrun him there. And that's a good job by him. But, I mean, that's the unblocked guy making a play 30 yards, 20 yards down the field.
20 yard, for sure 20.
It's amazing. I feel like a lot of the coaches in this sort of the Shanahan tree that trickles down to McVay and even Kevin O'Connell with the Vikings, and they talk about the phrase they use is the illusion of complexity, where you want to but really what the Niners are doing, and this is just I'm just like chopping up some of these clips from a fan perspective. It's like, wow, they're running a lot of the same actions, but they're just putting different players. Instead of putting Christian McCaffrey in the backfield, you're splitting him out wide right. Instead of sometimes Juszczyk is out wide. Sometimes Juszczyk is lined up where Kittle is on this play. And they're just running. It looks like chaos, but it's the same personnel grouping and the same actions, right?
And that's what causes the chaos, is that every one of these guys can play these roles, right? Like Deebo can be a receiver or he can be a running back. Christian McCaffrey can do the same thing. I'll bet you Brandon Ayuk would be just as good in the backfield as he is out there. And that's what makes these guys so incredibly hard to play, is because, like Jeremiah said, when you're playing a team against a 21 personnel, what are you thinking? We're running it, right? Fullback's in the game. We're ready to go. Their fullback is a glorified tight end / running back. Like, they just can move these guys around. So it's like, simply put, you look at it and you're like, hey, what are they in? They're in 21. All right, they're probably going to run it. But then you look out there and you're like, wait a minute. Why is their star receiver in the backfield and everybody else is split out? Like, this is not the 21 we expected. And that's what's so fun.
If you go to the back end here, Mackey, I'll show like what else is really cool about this formation. Like, if you look at just what this formation is,
and this is a different play, same game,
but different play, same game, but it's the exact same formation, right? It's the same formation. They're just lined up in it. There is about 6 different run plays I can think of off the top of my head that you can run out of this formation. Yep. So going off of what Boone said earlier about the guessing game, right? They just ran lead pitch. They could easily just run ISO to the weak side here, to the open side of no tight end. Like, there's so many different things you can do out of this formation, and that's where you talk about the idea of complexity. You don't have to be complex. You just have to be dynamic.
Look at this. It's what you just said, dude. Look at
there
this.
There it is. What did I tell you, dude?
Insane.
I mean,
we were just talking about this, that the same action will get everybody to go. Like, that's what nobody understands is, as a pro, the time that first play happened, the play that we saw before, everybody on defense is registering that in their mind. Hey, they ran a toss out of this formation. So the next time they see that formation, what do you think they're thinking? Toss. That's why the minute that Brock just opens up to Deebo, everybody takes off running. And all of a sudden, 23 is just chilling right here like, oh, just toss it to me real quick. That's why this is so scary. And that's why you can put a guy like Brock Purdy in there as long as you say, hey, just open and throw the damn ball. It's not even hard, Brody. Watch this.
This little motion by the fullback too. If you go back, like just that little buzz over there, right at the snap, causes everyone to start shuffling, which is what creates that lane for 23. Right, all Purdy has to do is just get the ball over 10. He sees the shuffle. He sees 20 starting to bail because he knows that he's got to cover deep third over there. And as soon as he does this, he sees a wide hole over there, and McCaffrey just puts his foot in the ground, just deliver the ball over the top of 10, and it's over.
It's not even a full fake pitch.
No.
He opens his shoulders.
He literally gets to a good throwing position, and then he just throws it. See, he sees 10 right there, and then he bats, and then he throws. So look at Cody Barton, 57, still chasing the ball, chasing the running back. I'm telling you, it's because it's that doubt in your mind of like, I saw this like 20 minutes ago. It's got to be the same play. Oh, he's running the same thing, perfect. And then all of a sudden, oh my God, he doesn't even have the ball.
57, he gone.
But this also goes, if you go all the way back to the top of the wide view or the tight view here, like Purdy sees this right away. If you go back, you see him, he alerts it instantly.
Right there.
Right? So they have a check, right? You see him right here. He's going alert, 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 alert.
So what's he alerting here? What is that?
He's seeing that this is 3 down linemen, or like, right? So they're in this would be a bear front, right? You have your nose guard, you have your 2-3 techniques, jam front, bear front, kind of the same thing, and one linebacker in the middle. Like, so he knows that it's man coverage. Right, it's man coverage across the board because you can only have so many here. So he knows, like, okay, this is man coverage, and he sees everyone stacked over to his left. He alerts this right away, and he knows he's throwing this from the rip because he knows no one's going to be over here when they buzz that fullback.
Okay, so dumb question. So this obviously the first play we ran, literally the same formation, same personnel grouping, everything, and they ran a pitch to the left side with Deebo Samuel. Are they walking up to the line of scrimmage and everything is essentially an RPO? Like everything is. Hey, based on what we see defensively, this could be a pitch to Deebo Samuel. This could be a trap to use check, or it could be a pass. Is he deciding that?
Yes.
At the line of scrimmage?
Yes.
Okay.
You decide it by the front and the coverage. So like sometimes it's a 1 high, 2 high thing, where if it's 1 high, we obviously want to throw, and if it's 2 high, we want to run it. A lot of times it comes down to the front. This is a jam front. The core's covered. There's certain jam front plays we would have alerted to. That if it was an over, it could be alerted to something else. Under, it's something else. But here he's alerting to let them know, hey, don't run downfield, okay? Because I'm probably going to throw this ball.
That being said, go back to the top of the wide, too. If you watch this from the beginning at the wide angle all the way to the back, if he hands this, it's just as good a play. Watch the left tackle and the left guard just destroy this 3 technique as they combo up. Like,
boom!
I mean, if he hands this or he tosses this to 19, it's 1-on-1 with the corner.
There's no wrong decision here.
Hey, you see how fast Cody got over there this time, though, right? Like, he's not messing around anymore. See that little illusion.
And Brandon Ayuk, he's sticking his hand in there going, hey, I'm going to go block this. I'm going to push crack this guy so that there is a lane, right? I'm taking Deebo Samuel 1-on-1 with that corner. He's either going to run over him or make a miss, but either way, you can't be wrong here as an offense.
No.
God, he's so frustrating for a defense, I would think.
Enormously.
Yeah, look how many guys are in the box, dude. You got 8 guys in the box, and you're like, wait, it's run. No, it's a quick slant pass.
Yeah.
God, I used to love them.
That's probably the
Those
1
are
high,
the
2 high
best.
check. If you look back on that, it's the single high safety. There's 1 safety standing. If there's 2 high safeties there, then he's just going to leave the play on and let it roll.
Boys, you guys remember in the divisional round game against the Cowboys, there was a crazy George Kittle catch where it looked like he was going to get decapitated by a safety. I'm going to show you that here. I want you guys to tell the audience what you see on this play. There's some interesting things happening here, starting with a little pre-snap motion.
Always a motion.
There's
Always
44 lined up as a tight end, by the way.
See that? He's a U.
So
we call that a U.
2 tight ends right here in Kittle and Juszczyk, right?
The Y and the U.
All right, so we'll roll it from.
So you're technically in a 12.
We'll play action. This is a great catch. Oh man,
Dude,
just for once, I mean, by the way, about 20 years ago, this play ends drastically different. Right?
Oh
This
yes,
guy's dead.
yes, yes.
Yeah, Jack Tatum in the 70s.
Oh my God,
Not have let that happen.
Ronnie Lott,
Chuck Cecil,
John Lynch, who was the
Lynch.
GM.
John Lynch,
Who wore the O-line face mask. Come on.
Yeah.
dude, he was a
Who messed with that
beast.
guy?
Steve Atwater.
Stop it.
Dudes were getting their fingers amputated during games back in the
Hey,
Think
you
you're
can't
tough.
do that anymore.
Different times.
That was when it was more fun.
So yeah. So
All right, here we go. So where we go again, zone, right? We're getting them running. We're getting everybody moving on the field. Brock Purdy sets back. This dude making it look easy. I mean, that's a 35-yard play right there off a simple waggle. I mean, Jeremiah, how many times did they call waggle and we were like, all right.
Yep. This all starts with the right tackle. The right tackle has the biggest block, right? He's going down since Lawrence over here. It's a one-on-one block. He's the one that has the hardest job here. You identify it so that you guys are pushing to the front side. The running back has the backside linebacker here. So technically, if the backside linebacker came 55, McCaffrey would have him. But, you can't even see Kittle on the screen here until late, right? He's not really involved. He's involved in the protection.
Yeah, look at him. He's still.
That's how they sell those guys.
He's not in the initial route.
Right.
Kittle's just a savvy football player, understands, hey, we have a rollout, so we cut the field in half, right? Instantly, the field's cut in half. Kittle just sees it. You can tell he's not supposed to go out and route. He's not, but he's eligible. So he waits. He sees it. He sees everyone going to cut the field in half, starting to defend the sideline. He just sneaks in behind everybody.
Brilliant.
That's just a heads up.
Oh, look at that catch.
By the way, 96 here is making up some. That's pretty impressive for us.
Because of the time to make up for it, eventually they figure out that it's not a zone, so they all start to retrace. He probably saw Kittle running downfield and was like, who is Brock Purdy going to throw it to first? Mm-hmm. He was obviously a step behind the entire time.
I remember watching this at full speed thinking,
right
oh my
there,
God, he's about to die. He's about to die.
Kittle's ribs are about to explode
It's
out of his
over.
chest.
Boom.
To not get smoked and to hold onto the ball all in one is incredible here.
Kittle's
And he got up.
But
absolute savage.
yeah, he's not even
I love these plays.
amazing.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
You know what else you don't see a lot too is you never really see the quarterback roll to his left a lot, which is always interesting too.
Yeah, because
Normally they want to raggle right. You want the guy to roll to his throwing shoulder. That way it's not a hard throw. But Shanahan, he don't care.
All right, I mentioned fullback trap in passing earlier.
Don't tease me.
Okay, this is from the plays you've seen so far from the 2022 season. This is from the 2021 playoffs, the game against the Packers at Lambeau Field here. This is
It's
fullback
football.
trap.
This is football, boys.
the
First of all,
tundra.
Can we talk about a better matchup between the Niners and the Packers? What fun games we used to have against those dudes and Aaron Rodgers. We used to kick their ass. We did. We beat the shit out of them. We had so much fun.
And it's still kind of happening, actually. It's a multi-year tradition. Packers getting smoked by.
Again, he's alerting this play right before we even go. He's alerting it, right, because this is a total front play.
Go back.
You have to have the right front in order to run a trap. You can't trap a nose. So if 97
right
was over 50, so they walked up here. They probably don't have trap called.
No.
And then Garoppolo here sees the front, and he then, like we talked about, has the power to say, hey, kill, alert, alert, whatever. And they're now switching it back here. And they're saying right here, I promise you, 60 and the right tackle are going, hey, deuce, 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 which is a universal call for a double team.
To 51.
To 50. So they're saying, hey, they're looking at here, they're selling the hell out of this, right? They're going, hey, deuce, 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 deuce. Just letting, now 97's thinking, okay, I'm getting double teamed heavy.
I'm going hard.
Right, I got to fire off this ball, and then they just completely olay him. It's fantastic.
It's so fun, dude.
So
We used to look at him, be like, deuce, deuce. He'd be like, all right, bro.
Yeah, see, look, he's like, we're going to 51. Deuce to 51. And 97's like, oh, all right, you idiots. Haha, dummies.
Right? So fun.
Watch 97. He's just
Reverse mind tricks.
He thinks he's getting double teamed. He's going to go to drop his shoulder. He's going to open his chest. And he's going to just take one here, right? He's like, oh, I'll take on this guy first. And then he's looking over and just
boom
right in the corner.
Dude, look at that hip. You know that hurt. Well, you know what's great here is look at Alex Mack get back. See how he kind of creates this lane as well? And then the guard. This is really hard when you're trying to fake this 3 technique out. It's really hard because it happens fast, and you got to be quick to try and sell it, but then you got to get up there at a good angle. This is just really run well. And then here's our boy, use check, running through. Kind of looks like Christian McCaffrey a little bit. You think I'm kidding?
Easy. Yeah, that's just, that's a play. Again, you probably ran power a few times this game already out of this formation, right? So you've ran power where you truly are double teaming 97. And the guard's pulling around. So, you run this. Trap's a play you run in the second half. That's the second half. You set it up 2 or 3 times with the same formation, run the same play out of it, and then you come back and you hit them with the trap. And then, again, just keeping them thinking, keeping them off guard.
So that was going to be my next question. So it's a second half play for those reasons. Give me like the 3 reasons why this gets checked or whatever word you want to use to or alerted to a trap instead of something else. Is it the spacing? It's
a 3 technique over the right guard, 97, but it's also that Sam linebacker, 59, is walked up on the ball, right? If 59
see him over Kittle.
Yep, see him over Kittle. If 59 is standing back here behind 97, it's a much harder block for the right tackle to have to try and get up to him. So
Can still do it.
On the ball, he can still do it, right? It's still doable.
It's hard.
When you have a 1 linebacker in the box, like 59 is technically unblocked here. And there you go. You see him running with the fake because they've ran so much of that, like he just takes himself out of the play.
How many of everyone involved here? So obviously Garoppolo's running the show here, but is it obvious? Dumb question. Is it obvious to everyone, especially with the Niners, I suppose, when you walk up to the line of scrimmage, does everyone know in their head this is going to be a trap?
Yes.
You
know because of the front. So you walk up and they'll be like, in your mind, the play call goes something like there'll be 2 or 3 plays and it'll basically go, if we get an under front, we go with the first one. If we get an over front, we go with the second one. If we get something wild, we're going to alert it to a crazy pass. Or if we get some all-out blitz or something. It just depends on the time in the game and the situation. But walking up to the line, you should know I have the 3 tech to my side, traps on. So then you're instantly setting it up right away. Like, hey, deuce, deuce. Even though it's not checked, but you have to start saying it right away. And all of a sudden they start getting this, like Jeremiah said, they just flip over. Like, they really think we're telling them deuce. Like, yeah, we're about to deuce you. We're not that stupid, guys. We know it's a deuce, right? Like, I don't think I've ever really called a deuce when it was a deuce. Like, we only do it when you're not doing it, and they still believe you. You're like, man, this guy's stupid.
D linemen are stupid.
This is great.
D linemen are dumb.
But the worst is
they're blind dogs in a meat house, dude.
Oh, no question. The worst is
they just run around like they don't see ball, sick ball. They're not super like with it all the time.
Oh no!
I love how Jeremiah tells a story last week that you can find the social clip on the O-Line Committee Instagram page, and he tells a story about oh my God, it's Julius Peppers, just don't trash talk about. Now that you get out of the league, you get on your own podcast here and trash talking D linemen.
We always trash talked them. We always told them they were dumb. We were always like, that's why you guys play defense, because you can't think, right? See ball, get ball. No, but honestly, the worst is when you set a guy up and he comes flying off the ball and maybe even falls and the trapper misses. You're like, dude, you get 1 square chance. Like, I remember when we used to do it against Aaron Donald, you were like, don't miss. It's our 1 chance to get him back, okay? Hit him, please.
I caught Hicks once against the Bears, and because he was he was a historical known for like jump swimming. And I think it was 2016. I caught him once right under the chin, and it felt so good. Oh, it felt so good.
You guys
I remember watching that play. Dude, that was Akeem Hicks. Remember, talk about a big dude. Just a big
He was trying to block a grizzly bear, dude.
And then he would, when he was young in the league, coming out of, where was he from? Regina? From Canada, right?
I think so, yeah.
He would start 5 yards off the ball and run at you. And I remember playing the Saints, and Anthony looked at me and was like, good luck.
I have a good Hicks story. Can we pause? Can we pause for story time?
Yes, I love story time.
This is your guess.
We're playing the Bears in 2016, right? We're playing the Bears in 2016 in Chicago. It's Pat Elflein's rookie year. Sorry, Pat. I'm going to put you on blast here for a second.
Terrible
It's
game.
Pat Elflein's rookie year. We've been talking about Hicks has been knows he's a rookie center, knows he's going after him. I'm playing left guard. Joe Berger's playing right guard. We come up. It's an odd front. It's 3rd down. And so we go double sort, right? Just telling both guards, like, hey, you're helping. Akeem Hicks is pacing back and forth in front of Pat Elflein, almost like a bull, like with the matador, like kind of just like raking the ground as he's coming through it. And it's on silent count. So I'm looking back, I'm looking underneath, and I go to tap Pat to tell him it's time for the snap. And Pat goes, Joe Sirles, you assholes better help me, and just snaps the ball. And you just see Hicks take a 3-yard running start, just diving into him. And I checked my linebacker, and he immediately came back inside because he knew he was just taking – Pat's 6'2", 6'3", and Hicks had 38-inch arms.
Dude, Akeem was 6'8".
You can just see
easy.
Pat's just trying to grab him, and he's just got full long arm extension on him. Oh, it's hilarious. Me and Joe came back to the huddle. We're like, did you really just say that?
Just
Hey,
getting
things happen. You don't want to
forklifted.
know what's really
Things
said out
happen.
there, okay?
Things happen, man.
I was talking to the guys in the gym the other day, and they were like, dude, what's it like? I go, listen, the TV only shows you this much. I go, there is so much going on that you guys are going to have so much fun because it's just a big circus the whole time. And you're trying to fight everybody, and you're trying to keep this guy calm. And all of a sudden, you're looking up, and you're like, dude, oh my God, that's 5-star studded pass rushers. Hey, can we go L here? Can we go L? You want to go 5-0? Okay, let's just, you know what? You're right. Let's just 5-0 it. Right?
I can't think was it one of you guys talking about how Luke Kuechly would frequently, maybe it was somewhere else. Luke Kuechly would just frequently. How often do I know you just said defensive linemen are usually just sort of dogs in a meat house or whatever, but how often do you get guys like Kuechly, or how often during a game does someone over there point out exactly what's going to happen, and then what do you do when that happens?
I'm gonna say it's more rare than you think. Like, to be actually on it. There's only been a few games, and Luke was always one that was like, hey, 3 wide, here comes the pitch. You're like, are you serious? It's the first play of the game, dude. He knew everything. He
was an anomaly.
He'd come up there, he'd be like, screen.
That was the worst. When you knew it was a screen.
Because you're not going to outrun him.
No.
He's going to out-leverage you. He's going to go just drive on it. And one time we met, and we went over each other, and I remember where I was laying there, and I crushed his arm or something. His elbow got stuck. And he's like, oh, my elbow. I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. He's like, oh, it's okay. You're an Ohio kid. I like you. I was like, dude, we're Ohio boys. Dude, he ended up being one of the coolest dudes in the world, but he was so smart. Like him, London Fletcher was another guy. You could never psych London out. He was crazy.
Your boy Patrick Willis was similar.
P. Willie. Because he was with
Willis.
Takeo, and they were Navarro, like they were just Bobby Wagner. He's another one that if he sniffs it, he's like, hey, I think it's power. And Cam Chancellor's behind him. It's power. You're like, dude, I had to pull and hit Cam Chancellor one time. I thought I broke my neck. I swear to God. He didn't even do a running start. He was just standing there. And I ran into him, and I thought I broke my neck. I was like, this dude is insanely strong.
Yeah.
Well, so what is it that they're like in, I've told you guys I used to cover baseball 10 years ago, and it was frequent that a pitcher would do something like if they flare their glove, it means they're digging to get a grip on a pitch that's going to be off speed. So guys are constantly picking stuff. Like when Luke Kuechly or Patrick Willis shows up and says with confidence, that's a screen. Is it something that a lineman's doing? Is it like, what is it that they're picking up on saying?
There's a couple things. The first one is they're just incredible film studies. And the other thing is they're incredible learning tendencies. Right, as an offense, that's your worst enemy is if you become predictable, right?
Yep.
Like, hey, if we're in this formation, 90% of the time we're running this play or it's this protection. So that's the number one thing is like that's their first read. Okay, Kuechly's watched so much film. He goes in his brain as it's all happening in the game. He's going, it's 3-by-1. Their number one tendency is this. Their number two tendency is this. Let me see if that guard's hand is light. His hand's light. It's power. Right, and it's happening in his brain that quick.
Fast,
right?
Very fast.
Very few guys have that ability to see that. On the defensive side. I mean, that's why when you get some of those guys, it's so rare. And I mean, it was such a shame Kuechly's career ended because he could have played 100 years because he just was great at never getting hit, and he just knew exactly where to be all the time.
Right, great leader too. Like that dude showed up every game. There wasn't a game that he wasn't that guy, and I loved you. I think, and I don't know how Jeremiah. I'm sure you feel the same way. You almost appreciate playing guys like that even more because they bring 100%. You up. Like they make you have to play smarter because you're like, all right, this guy's really smart. I have to keep my same stance the whole day now because if he starts to see me, I'm going to start giving things away, and it just puts everybody on more high alert instead of these linebackers that are like, Leo. Like I used to hate when they Leo. God, you guys are idiots.
All right, I got 2 more plays for you guys here. Both from, I think these are both from the Cowboys divisional round game. 49ers, little 21 personnel. So we'll run it from the wide angle. You guys tell me, what do you see?
If it's too high, I'm going to assume it's a run.
And you would be right.
Ding, ding, ding. Is it that simple for them?
Yes. It really is. Like, I'm serious. They come up and they have a 2 high, 1 high check. And if it's like, oh, 2 high, 6 guys in the box, good luck.
But remember, you're in the middle of a war. You can't make us think about everything. Like, it's got to be something simple. I look up, I see 2 back there. All right, here we go. Let's run the ball, right? They're like one in the box.
Trent Williams on this play too.
Yeah, this is we called this OT, right? So this is
Auto.
OT. So you have, is it 2 pullers or 1 puller? Let me watch it again.
I think it's 2. I think they're both.
And it's guard, tackle, counter.
Yeah, this is counter. Right?
This is great.
Is counter. So, I mean, you want to, these pin pull plays, the whole idea is to cut the defense. Right? You want to cut the defense in half, which you see right here. It's perfect. 69, 64, 85, cut the defense. 71 has the kick-out block, and then you just take it like striking a match off 69's ass here, and you just take it right up there.
Watch this, though.
Do you think anyone's ever actually struck a match off Mike McGlinchey's ass before?
Oh, for sure.
Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey.
I want you to watch Kittle. And I want you to watch this, because this is one of the nastiest damn blocks. And I think we've went over this before. Watch him fake in because he wants this guy to go in. He goes around, but he's not going to Barr. Who's he going to?
Van Der Esch.
You gotta be kidding me. Show me another tight end that can do that. You are out of your damn mind.
So
right.
He's going all the way over
But why don't they do that? Because this defensive end is going to just push him all the way down there, and he's not going to be able to get on the block, right? So instead, you make him go outside, sets up this end to get trapped, and then you tell the best tight end, you get your ass in there and block that Mike, and he does? Are you serious? And then look who's following him. 71 on a full steam. Oh, Barr, I don't think so. You know you're spitting teeth out after that. Dude, amazing. Trent Williams pulling, I swear to God, there is nothing sexier than watching this dude run full speed into a linebacker. And it's almost, look, he's staring at Barr the whole time. He's like, yeah, I'm coming. I'm coming for you, dude.
Too. Barr's
I know, he's probably talking to him like, I'm coming for you. You better be ready. Barr's like, no.
So what Boone's talking about here from like a technical standpoint too, Mackey, if you go back, like, so you see how 65 here is kicking out 90, right? 65, you want this play to kick out like we talked about, splitting the defense, cutting it in half. If Kittle just tries to get skinny and get inside of him, what ends up happening is 90 washes him down and keeps him, from getting up on the linebacker, but then that requires 65 to have to what we call log, which means he'd have to flip his hips around and pin 90 to the inside, which then causes Trent Williams to then have to pull around, and then there's safety and corner help out there, right? Like, you want to try and keep it away from those guys, keep it inside the A gap and the B gap, so you're running away from 28 instead of 28 being the guy that could go up there and make a play if this has to bounce.
This is only like an 8-yard gain. It's kind of, in a sea of 100 plays or whatever in the course of 3 hours. It's just a little 8-yard run play. This is one of the most fascinating, nuanced 8-yard run gains that I can remember seeing. I mean, it's just, dude, you got 2 pulling offensive linemen from the left side. You got a tight end going all the way across to pick up Van Der Esch. It's just kind of fascinating.
And I'm going to say
there's
this
their
too.
MVP, Juszczyk, just blocking Micah Parsons.
No big deal.
No big deal, right? I mean, it's not a knockout shot or anything. That's the defensive player of the year. And it's like, hey, you, jack of all trades, just cut him off. Just get in his way.
That's
so he
hard.
Make the play. And that's a tough thing to do with 2 pullers, 11 squeezing as hard as you can. That's a great block by Houston.
Because as soon as he sees those 2 guys pulling, he's taught to just shoot right off the edge, because it's either going to be zone away or something's coming to you and you need to blow it up. So him being able to block that is phenomenal. But also, too, there are so many teams right now that have their tackles pulling like that backside, and it does not look like that. Like, this is one of the teams that they actually know how to use their players. And they're like, Trent, you're one of the best. Let's get you moving around here a little bit.
There's 21 personnel, big completion here. This is the second play for you guys.
I mean, and before we get into this, like we talked about in our first episode that we recorded with Darisaw and some of the similarities, right? And we started seeing towards the end of the year Darisaw getting out and pulling because they're similar skill sets.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you want to use your best players. If your best player is a left tackle, you want to use their skill set to the best of their ability for the team.
You know what's funny? I think just being in Vikingsville for the people that aren't aware, I host Purple Daily, so I'm just talking Vikings every day too. And when the Vikings signed Josh Oliver, this sort of 6'4", 245, 50-pound blocking machine, he caught some passes in college. He's a tight end. He's a run blocking tight end. And a lot of Vikings fans are like, "What are we? No, you keep throwing the ball." But I think you're seeing so many, like, the Niners offense is unstoppable at times. Not because they're this aerial assault that's going to throw the ball 40 times. They are a high-end, complicated yet simple in the way that they use some of the same schemes. Like, they're running the ball down your throat and being explosive that way and then opening up big pass plays. Like, this next play is a big pass play that's probably set up because of the fear of the run, I'm guessing. Right. You guys can tell me.
Mackey, it's retention time, teaching tape. You've been with
us
for 4 episodes now.
Oh,
what
God.
do you see here, and what makes you think what it is?
Come on.
Well, I already know what the play is going to
be. But like, just what
makes you think
here?
that though?
What makes you like? You know what the play is? Why do you think?
Very obvious.
Why do I think it's
Why do you think it's a pass? You know it's a pass. Why do you think it's a pass?
single high safety?
Boom.
Bang!
Yeah.
See how fast we're moving now?
Now you're getting it. Now you're seeing it.
Now,
right?
can you do that when Poona Ford's staring at you? Can you look up and be like, "Oh, it's only one"?
The play clock's winding down. I've got
everyone's
urine
like, "What's
coming
the
down my
call?" I don't know. Check count. What's the snap count? That was always
I
me.
just start yelling blue 42 as loud as I can and hope that something good happens.
You're the center, dude.
So, all right, so there's the wide angle, big, 30-yard chunk play here for
This is power pass.
George Kittle.
Yeah, so
This is
obviously
power pass.
Jeremiah's already called it. We're one high, right? So we got look how heavy this box looks now, right? We can't just let these guys run through here like they were before. Now it kind of looks the same, right? We have Deebo back here where Juszczyk was before. We're in gun, which changed it up a little bit, but at the same time, we still like to run a lot out of this formation. Now you see how Banks from the left guard pulls to the right? We're obviously not going to put Deebo on Micah Parsons for this, right? Like we're going to put a tackle. But this pull right here from Banks sets this play up more than anything. Because
65
it gets,
here pulling?
Yes.
Yeah,
it gets these three guys to step up. And it's that quick half-second jolt that gets people behind your defense. Watch this. Nobody even has eyes on Kittle. Because why? Purdy just has the ball in front of him. And people are freaking out.
These three guys right here all
they're like,
sweating the
what's
run.
going on? What's going on? Not to say that they're wrong, because they're in the right position. But the problem is when you have one of the best tight ends in the league and you're leaving him one-on-one and you don't have inside help, where am I going to throw the ball? Inside!
Also, go back to the wide real quick. Not only is it single high, but it's single high with the safety on the far hash.
Yep.
There's no one on the back end over there. That corner is responsible for covering George Kittle.
Take it back, Mackey. You'll see why he moves. Go back.
They move because Deebo Samuel, right? He's in the middle. Deebo comes over, and now it's a 3-by-1 set. Really a 1-by-3, right? When you have the tight end to the nub side, it's a 1-by-3 set.
And you can't leave Vander Esch or Micah Parsons on Deebo Samuel, so you have to have the safety move over, right?
Correct.
Exactly.
So it's checkmate before the
But
play
not only
even.
that, you're actually 4-by-1, because look, you got this dude over here, right? Like everybody that you're worried about is over here, and everyone's like, oh, well, what's Kittle going to do? He can't do anything. Simple plays. Just
Dude, they're kind of lucky. This could have been a touchdown.
House. Yeah.
Although a cornerback might track him down.
The corner did a nice job here. He had his eyes in the backfield and comes through. But let's break down a little bit. This is, again, we talk about the right tackle having the hardest block. This is why you pay Trent Williams as much money as he asked for. This is one-on-one Micah Parsons, Defensive Player of the Year, versus the best left tackle, right? This is a play action, but I mean Trent Williams knows better. Sometimes tackles try and like pretend to fake in and then kick back out. You don't do that against Micah Parsons. You set this to win, right? So if you just look at like the schematics of how he sets, right? Sets inside out, he stays in front of him, and like he doesn't really punch him here, but he just understands like, hey, I just have to make sure I cover this guy up and not go like he just flat sets him. So you see slight hesitation there by Parsons, see him stop his feet. I mean, Trent a lot of times shoots his hands here, but he knows like, hey, I'm mirrored up. I got inside leverage. I'll just hold on to him here. Boom. It's a quick hitting play. Beautiful.
Man, what a play. This is not a knock on Purdy because he did a wonderful job doing exactly what they coached him to do. But you can kind of see now how do the 49ers keep doing it right with pretty much any random guy at quarterback. Well, you guys just laid out this play is ready-made for any of the top 55 quarterbacks in the NFL. It would seem like
accurate. Just be accurate and make the right decision.
Yeah.
And don't tense up. But like you said, it's easy to do stuff like that when your left tackle is the best in the league and can go block the best player on their defense. Because how many times did we watch Micah Parsons last year just run through an entire team? And here your left tackle's like, I got him. Don't worry about it. I don't even think I'm going to throw my hands. I'm going to wait for him to come to me. Defensive Player of the Year, you got to prove it to me. That's why I love that dude. He is, between him and Bakhtiari,
it's close.
The best. I know, man. The best.
That's why I love when Trent, the pettiness of pay me $10,000 more. You remember that?
Yeah.
David Bakhtiari sets the highest paid left tackle thing. 2 weeks later, Trent Williams gets the highest paid by $10,000. Oh, I loved it. I loved it.
Just a little bit more. Just a little bit.
By the way, some requests from Eagles fans who enjoyed the Eagles offense breakdown said, hey, what we need next, and maybe we can branch this out beyond just Eagles, because the Eagles are a great quarterback sneaking team. We should do a quarterback sneaking montage here on the O-line committee.
Absolutely. We can show you exactly why it works or exactly why it failed.
Yes.
Absolutely. I'm in. I love close quarters.
We're making it a segment. One a week, Mackey.
Yes.
1 a week. We need one.
Guerrilla
a week.
warfare.
One sneak a week.
One
sneak a week.
Sneak a week, baby.
One sneak a week.
Amazing. Well, there's your breakdown. If you're wondering why are the 49ers almost impossible to stop, and it starts in the trenches and in the mind of Kyle Shanahan as well. And it's nice to have about 6 weapons that are difficult to stop. Great stuff, dudes. You guys taught me. Look at you taught me how to decipher single high versus 2 high safeties. I feel like I'm coming.
You're halfway there, Mackie.
You could start in the league tomorrow. You're fine.
For sure.
Let's get it. Please click the like and the subscribe button on the O-Line Committee YouTube channel. You can also follow O-Line Committee on, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And that's where you can find us if you want to follow us, Yahoos as well. This is an offensive lineman lifestyle podcast. Thanks for hanging out.